The day of reckoning is here. Today, when you're watching this video, if today is the 7th of December 2025, Formula One would have crowned its newest champion for the year. This entire season has been one to sorta remember. I say sorta because the racing itself has been, for a lack of a better term, shit. But looking past that, the season has been one full of stories and drama. From the 1st of February of not even 2025, but 24, where Lewis Hamilton was announced to be driving for Ferrari for 2025, to the story of the title battle going all the way down to Abu Dhabi for the first time since 2021. Every single weekend has been its own challenge, but here we are at the final hurdle of the year. 18 drivers from round 1 to 23 have failed to jump all of the hurdles, leaving only 3 left to claim the trophy. The first driver is, of course, Lando Norris, who after a disappointing year in 2024 knew he had to come back. 2024 saw his team McLaren rise to the top of the field, and with such a sudden change, he found himself susceptible to not only outside pressure, but internal one as well. He knew he was the only reason why he failed to win the title last year, and despite some troubles again in the first half of this year, he never gave up. He fortified his mind and cleaned up his mistakes, which now sees him one hurdle away from true glory. However, could his teammate have anything to say about that? Oscar Piastri is only 24 years of age in his 3rd season of F1, yet he finds himself so perilously close to winning a title. Only drivers like Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, Juan Pablo Montoya, and Jacques Villeneuve, but let's forget about him, have been so close to winning a title in such a short amount of time, and now Oscar Piastri can add his name to that list. Every season since his first in 2023 has seen major improvement in his craft, leading to this year where he and the car entered a flow state in the beginning part of it, winning the most amount of races and leading the most amount of laps. He seemed straight up untouchable, but after some internal team conflicts leading to mental conflicts, Oscar Piastri has seen his once untouchable 34-point lead in the standings dwindle down to a 16-point deficit to the lead from 3rd. He is still within a shot, but regardless if he wins it or not, he must be proud of his season, especially considering it's his 3rd. But Formula One is a brutal game, and sometimes to be good, you must be more brutal than the sport itself, and no man knows how to do that more than Max Verstappen. Champion in 2021, champion in 2022, champion in 2023, champion in 2024. Can he add yet another and make it 5 in a row in 2025? Max is known for his no-nonsense form of racing. Either you let him through or you suffer the consequences, leading to him never being counted out of anything. Even though Red Bull debuted a struggling car this year, through his influence, that car is now just as quick as the McLaren, and what was once a 104-point deficit to the lead of the standings has become a 12-point deficit in the span of only 10 races. No one has ever overturned a deficit that huge, but if there is someone that can do it, of course it would be Max. Peak Cinema is ahead of us for the final round, and no matter what happens, it has been one crazy time. So let us recap the weekend, find some winners and losers from it, and see who our champion is. So go join the Discord to experience the fallout of the season, and subscribe if you're new if you cannot wait for 2026. So enough yapping, and let's get to quacking.
See those clouds up in the corner? That's where the rain is coming from.
As always, folks, we got the recap first up, and the first story ain't a good one. Firstly, we're in Abu Dhabi for this final round, and man, I'm just gonna rip the band-aid. This circuit is horrible. Racing is non-existent here, as such has been the case since 2009, and the only reason why it's still here is they gotta pay well, has to be. And it sucks, man, because imagine this legendary battle being decided at like Interlagos, Coda, hell, even Vegas, somewhere where the cars can actually be allowed to race each other and not be held in DRS trains all day long. This track does, of course, have legendary title deciding moments like 2010 with the DRS trains, 2016 with the Hamilton Express, or of course 2021, but none of those races were good. 2025 will likely be the same, but oh well, at least the scenery is nice. But the second story is the confirmation from Red Bull regarding their seats. For 2026, Max Verstappen will drive for the team alongside Isaac Hadjar with their junior team, having Liam Lawson and Arvid Lindblad. May Yuki's soul rest in peace. He could come back like Albon in 2022, which I have no doubt will happen, but still, man, he was so set for such a great season at Racing Bulls, but alas, things can change just like that. Personally, I think the lineup is fine. Like, my obvious concern is Isaac being yet another failure at Red Bull, but with new cars next year, maybe he could not drown that much. Maybe. And also, I think the promotion of Lindblad is maybe a bit premature still, but at the same time, he has warranted enough to get that seat in my opinion, so I don't know. Finally, the last bit of news is a good one, and it's that Haas F1 will now be title sponsored by Toyota for the next year. Toyota Gazoo Racing and Haas established a partnership last year, and next year, it's a full-blown thing now, and isn't that wonderful? I was kind of worried the team would sink in this new reg period, but now they'll be fine. Bring Iwasa or Miata in, and my life is yours, Komatsu. Anyways, that's enough for the drama stuff for the weekend. So let's move on to Friday with the first 2 practice sessions. Oh boy.
Because I'm all out of money!
FP1, as to be expected, given it's the final round, featured many new faces taking over. I'm not going to go through them all, but the only one that matters is my twin Pato in the McLaren and Sean Shields. Now, why am I mentioning him? Let me put it like this. Do y'all remember Lord Mahavir Raghunathan? Imagine him driving in an FP1. I mean, the guy is not good. Money's the only reason why he's working with the team, but oh well, let's pray he doesn't touch another car again soon. FP1, however, was just a whole load of nothing. With the rookie drivers, of course there were a few mistakes and such, but nothing too crazy, which again, it's the final round. Let's just make it home, lads. And as for FP2, thankfully, it was so much better. I mean, it was still boring, but at least some stuff got wacky. We have GP trying to give Max a penalty, as well as other moments and such, but guys, if the midfield could get anywhere near the main stuff for the race, then maybe this one can be good. But other than that, the running order so far would be McLaren as the outright fastest. I think that's clear enough. And this was obvious, as the McLaren loves tracks like this, since again, balance is key. However, Red Bull is very close behind with Max, which kinda doesn't matter. Again, as long as Norris finishes on the podium, the title is all his. So Max better hope some misfortune happens, since yeah, he can win, but Norris is still right there, not slow enough crucially. However, interestingly, Mercedes don't look too bad. This is the real team to watch, since if George or Kimi can medal in between Max and McLaren, that will decide the title, especially George, since we know he's not want to back down, so let's see what he can do. Then everyone else is behind, including Ferrari, who yeah, let's just get the season over with. So that was Friday. Let's move on to Saturday with FP3 and the big bad qualifying that could potentially decide things. Quick tangent, since 2013 I believe, the winner of this race has started on pole, so let's see if that trend will once again extend tomorrow. Please no. FP3 for once would be entertaining for us fans, since I guess the drivers really want to cause drama. I mean, you had Mercedes having a severe lapse in their judgment, Lewis wanting to go home a day early, and Red Bull totally not trying to take Lando off for qualifying. I mean, it was good, albeit it's a practice session, so it was boring regardless, but hey, I'll take this over more sprints. Take a little hint, Domenicali. Anyways, the running order would stay largely the same, so let's move into qualifying where nothing bad will happen. Q1 begins, and of course, Lewis Hamilton found his way back to the garage, but hey, it's the final time, man. Next year is our year, and I'm afraid to report I am not joking when I say that. But the session itself would be relatively calm with drivers just setting laps. What? No way. So heading into Q2, and other than the other Ferrari trying to give me a heart attack and remove every hair follicle on my head, it was boring again. But despite that, there were some weird bits. For example, Behrman is out after showing high confidence, the Mercedes of Antonelli is also leaving George alone, and I woke up with a minute and a half of Q3 gone, so I should probably pay attention. Q3 then starts, and all I see is Max only 1/10 away from his 2021 pole time, which is massive, with the two McLarens of Piastri and Norris respectively behind Max. Further back, George nearly bends at the Latifi corner, which, come on man, can they make it more obvious? And all the midfield guys are too far back to even get in the middle of anything, so now for the final runs. Whoever gets pole has a very high chance to win the race, so who can it be? Fucking Max, alright? He snatched pole by a staggering 2/10 over Lando in second and Piastri in third, while Russell behind nearly spun it into the wall, but kept it on track for fourth. I'll be real with you folks, Max can win this race by 20-30 seconds, but as long as Lando is on that podium, the title will be his. Unless George sends the dive bomb of all dive bombs and the McLarens crash later on in the race, there is no fifth title for Max, there is no crazy final lap finish, and there is no Queen of England. So let's see how this Paramount race can go on Sunday, race day. Lap 1 begins and immediately Max comes across to defend Lando Norris, but doesn't make contact against everybody's expectations. And later on the lap, Oscar sends a mighty move on Lando from the outside, dropping him down to 3rd. Further back, George dropped down to wherever the hell after getting a terrible start, while Charles starts to apply pressure to Lando via his car. Then the race comes down now, with Charles really being the only one to stir up some action and moments. So the race just goes and goes and goes until the pit stops where Lando comes out in traffic and he knows he must move quick and not get Alonso'd or red flagged, which he does nicely. And when it comes to overtaking Yuki, we know what's gonna happen. Red Bull go over the phone and say to Yuki, do your thing. And what does he do? Got a 5-second time penalty. Now, where Checo in 2021 was able to hold Lewis up, allowing Max to catch right back up, Yuki decided, let's break the rules, to which he failed. And like, son, if you're gonna break the rules, at least crash into him, I don't know. Either way, Lando's now blasting off in the distance, and further back, we see Lewis and Stroll making some moves. We're at that point, huh? Anyways, Oscar, who was in the lead, finally pits, allowing Max back through, and unless he catches, Max wins the race, but not the title since Lando's in 3rd and on course to win it. The laps take away, and boom. Max crosses the line P1 to win the race, Oscar finishes P2, while Lando Norris crosses P3 to win the driver's title of 2025 and become the 35th world champion. Cope all you want, Lando had a brilliant season by all standards and metrics when it comes to results and the driving itself. Yes, Lando had his Canada and his Vegas, but Max had his Spain and his Silverstone. Lando, whether you accept it or not, is the deserved champion of this year just as much as Max is or Oscar is. F1 is a brutal game and you need to be the best and most consistent from every single round, and Lando was just that. So instead of hating, let's appreciate Lando's efforts this season and his title, appreciate Oscar's 3rd season and his achievements, appreciate a driver who's arguably top 5 or 3 of all time, Max Verstappen, nearly coming back to win it all. We can all do with positivity in our lives, and no amount of complaining will change the outcome today. Plus, the rules were followed this year, so there is that. But now for the winners and losers, and as always, losers first, and I of course have Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen. Now, they're not here because they performed bad, not at all. Rather, they're here because they literally lost on the title. Regardless, both better be proud of their efforts. Oscar, in just his 3rd season, got this close to winning the title in a stacked front end of the grid, and Max nearly made up 104 points to the lead. That is simply too good to overlook. So both can be extremely proud of their achievements from this season and not let the loss affect their game for next season in March. You got this. Next up though, I have Alex Albon, and what has happened, man? This guy at the start of the year looked so good, mighty, untouchable, fine, beautiful, pretty. He drove really well is my point. But then we entered the summer break, and I don't know if they got McLarenitis, but the fortune of their drivers completely swapped. Suddenly, Alex was performing mid or bad on some occasions, while Sainz now has 2 podiums for the team. That little joke saying how Williams has a driver pairing where only one could perform at a time really is true, since come on Alex, help your teammate. His qualifying in my opinion was his lowest, and Sainz is out here setting near competitive times, while Alex is setting times competitive with Stroll. It's just strange is my point, and let's hope this weird curse thing can be lifted for 2026, since again, Dark Horse Williams, you heard it here first. Next is Lewis Hamilton, who, man, I was considering putting him in the winner since he'll never have to drive this car again, but I gotta be real. Lewis had an alright weekend here, and if that means some points in Q1 knockout, then I think that shows just how terrible Ferrari have been to him. Since yeah, he's the one not performing, but I would think a 7-time world champion would know how to drive cars that aren't good. Hell, look at 2009, look at 2011. Sure, they are some bad seasons, but at least he was competitive sometimes. The SF25 is so fundamentally broken, so depending on how you view it, yeah, maybe Lewis is a winner then. But looking at his weekend performance, and yeah, what can I say? Bad qualifying, mid-race, dejected Lewis. We better hope and pray that 2026 is a more competent Ferrari, since I don't think I could take another year of this. Next year's our year. Next year's our year. Next year's our year. Next year's our year. Moving on is Kimi Antonelli, who finally had his streak ended. Now, I don't know what the UAE's laws on titanium dioxide are, but clearly they don't allow any, which saw Kimi get back into the midfield purgatory, which is a shame because his form recently has been nothing short of stellar. I mean, he was genuinely out racing and out qualifying George, which has got to stand for something. I always knew that Kimi had this form in him, and while he still may struggle with a bit of consistency, at least we know now what just 1% of his power is like. Sorry, I'm still a massive Kimi Glazer, and I will ride him until the day I die. Probably shouldn't have phrased it like that. Finally, I have Sauber, who failed to overtake Haas in the constructors. I don't really have much to say since they stopped developments while Haas didn't, but yeah, we gotta mark them down anyways. Either way, Sauber had an incredible season. They shouldn't let this affect them. The Sauber name is gone and Audi comes in next year, so let's see how they can do. But now for the winners, and I of course begin with Lando Norris. The skies darkened, frogs and blood started to rain down on the earth while trumpets could be heard in the distance. Lando Norris is your 2025 world champion. Okay, maybe I'm being too dramatic or negative. Lando had easily his best year in F1 ever. Yes, better than 21, better than 23. Lando showed his ultra quick pace all throughout the season, and just because Red Bull upgraded their car to be McLaren's level or even ahead of it when no one else upgraded post spot other than Haas, it shouldn't invalidate Lando's extreme pace this season. Lando is deservingly the champion of 2025, and no amount of bias in my heart will make me say otherwise. F1 is a very tough sport. It's really not as simple as many would like you to believe. So no matter who wins the title, they all deserve it. And saying something like, oh, he wasn't even the best driver, or oh, he's a meanie in the interviews, it's kind of redundant. In F1, results matter, and Lando got them results. If Max wanted to win, hey, maybe don't crash into George in Spain, results matter. Maybe don't spin on the safety car restart in Silverstone, results matter. So I don't want to see all of this Lando hate on Twitter that is completely unwarranted. Critique his game, sure, but don't just blindly hate is my point. Lando drove a great season and now he has a title to show for it. Moving on is Max Verstappen, who had a supremely great weekend. Pole by a butt-fucking amount, led the race to perfection to win yet again. It was just another classic Verstappen weekend, and the fact he got so close to the title despite those two mistakes I mentioned previously, it's just generational, man. Remember, F1 fans, generational drivers do not always win every single year. Lewis didn't win in 2021 or 2016, Seb didn't win in 2009, Michael didn't win in 2006 or 99 or 96 or 97, Senna didn't win 89, hell, the 90s were full of champions who were great, but were not generational. The point of the F1 title is the driver who scored the most points throughout the season, not the driver with the most talent. All sports are like this, where the most talented guy doesn't win all the time, and that's okay. It's a competition, and just because you have loads of talent doesn't mean you win every single game. Max is still a generational driver, and just because Lando has a title now shouldn't make that any less true. If anything, it's a disservice to Max, since now you're making him seem like he's washed or something. So don't be a dickhead. Celebrate with Lando and his fans and appreciate his monumental achievement. Then maybe don't include the rage baiters, no one loves them and shouldn't. Next is Aston Martin, who somehow almost got 6th in the standings. Aston has had his season. I think that's the best way to put it. They seemed nowhere for a good while, and then suddenly they're fighting for 6th? Okay, I just have no clue what to say because I wasn't really paying attention to them. They literally spawned out of nowhere. Regardless, Alonso drove a great race today, and Stroll, unlike Albon, was able to come back to secure more points for the team. I'm happy for Aston since I have a soft spot for them from my Checo Force India days, so let's see how 2026 will treat them. Next is Haas, who I don't know if they should be here. I mean, they performed good until they didn't, which kind of makes me think otherwise, but oh well. Regardless of their performance, they still scored some good points, and while the constructors wasn't as nice, I'm biased, but I do want to highlight their Toyota partnership since I think that literally saved the team. Like I said, I really thought this team wasn't seeing like 2028, but with Toyota there to funnel in some moolah and continue having a technical partnership with them, I think Haas could very well soon become a BMW Sauber-esque team. I mean that in the sense of they'll be midfield masters and a very desirable team for young talent. Think Force India or McLaren 2019 and 2021. I am very excited as a Haas fan and as a driver of a Toyota Camry, so let's see what's up with them. Now for the bonus category, and I have the best topper of the weekend for the driver who spun the most, obviously, you know, like a spinning top. What are you thinking of? And I have George here. Now, he didn't exactly give the best top this weekend. That went to Lewis in FP3, but George did give the most top, which to me is more impressive. 2026 could feature some more sloppy top from George, so let's see how that year can go. Finally, let's see how my predictions ended up as well as yours. My qualifying predictions were near spot on if I just used my brain for 4th and 5th. My race predictions were almost right for once. My champion prediction was completely spot on. My random prediction was wrong, but someone did touch. Your predictions were wrong and right. I don't know. They're always wrong and right. I'll start discriminating because of this, by the way. And finally, my bingo card is complete, and the less the said, the better. So those were my winners and losers from the 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 2026 features all new cars for us to witness. These previous cars obviously sucked, and I'm so glad they're gone. Here's to more title battles and great cars. But I just want to thank you guys for an amazing season. Truly, y'all made the journey so good. So thank you each and every one of you. This winter break will see more different content from me, whether it's differently written or face cam videos, who knows, but I will try some stuff out. So let me know if you like them. Anyways, I want to give a quick shout out to all members of the flock for the continued support. Make sure to join if you want cool benefits as well as just helping me out. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe since it really helps me out. Make sure to let me know in the comments who your winners and losers are. And as always, have an amazing day.
Good weather for the duck.